Welcome to the court gallery. Imagine scoring a highly favorable plea deal, getting probation, then completely falling off the face of the earth for 2.5 years. On August 5th, 2026, our defendant is finally apprehended and immediately starts rattling off a laundry list of severe medical excuses. 9 days later, at his formal revocation hearing, he doubles down, begging for immediate release for a life-saving surgery. Shockingly, even the state prosecutor seems willing to cut him a break. But will the judge buy the sudden, desperate plea for leniency, or will the long arm of the law finally catch up? Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to find out right now.
Brian Grimes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. Mr. Grimes, I'm trying to determine exactly why you're here. I think you were placed on probation at one time.
Yes, sir.
There's been a warrant to show cause alleging probation violation in your case.
Yes, I was placed in a handover hospital, and due to place in the hospital, I was under your guys' jurisdiction in the hospital. And when I was able to get out from underneath it, I called to let my mother know where I was at. And at that time, I found out that she was on her way of passing away. And I was supposed to undergo a triple heart bypass surgery, which I still am. As of 2 weeks ago, it was pretty evident that I have this surgery. Last night, I went to the hospital downtown, and today I was placed in a medical ward because of my heart. I was supposed to go to have a triple heart bypass surgery, and it was told to me to get a hold of my cardiologist as soon as I can and my doctor and get this taken care of, which I do desperately. My chest, my heart, everything is hurting right now. It has been today. And I know what the consequences are when I don't appear to court. Eventually I'll come to court, but I need to get this surgery underway. And before I was scared, my mother was passing, and she did pass. I lost my father when I was here last time. And I just throw myself into the courts to see if I can get out and go get this surgery taken care of before it does kill me, because it's about to kill me. I have kidney disease. I have to undergo heart surgery. I'm 55. I'm not in real good shape anymore. And so I want to do the best thing I can do for myself, which is leave here and go to Andover Hospital and get their surgery done.
All right, Mr. Grimes, I've given you some latitude to explain your recent history, including some degree of medical history in the case, but I need to state for the record why you're here. There was a warrant to show cause filed to allege probation violation almost 2 years ago.
Yes, sir.
You made a first appearance on the warrant to show cause, and then when it came time for your hearing, you didn't show up.
Yes, sir. I was in and out of the hospital in Wichita and Andover at this particular time.
Regardless of the reason you failed to appear, the court entered an order of bond forfeiture, a bench warrant issue for your arrest, with an order that you be held on a no bond hold pending further proceedings in the case, expecting, of course, that you'd be taken into custody relatively quickly. Well, we've gone from 2024 to the year 2026 now.
Yes, sir.
Taken into custody. I need to reschedule your hearing.
I
I
spoke
think
with
I want to
my,
expedite his case to the docket coming up next week. Mandy, I'm going to address my assistant for a moment. The date I otherwise had was September the 11th, but I think I want to move his hearing up.
Okay, we can use August 14th at 2:30.
August 14 at 2:30 p.m. Further proceedings will be conducted in relation to this old warrant to show cause that was filed in this case. Essentially failing to pay, failing to report to his probation officer.
I spoke with my new probation officer yesterday, I believe. Her name is Cassandra, something like that. That took over for my old probation officer.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you did.
And I just let her know, what was going on with me and all that, and I'd like to get, back on track. I think her name was Cassandra. I think. I'm not really quite sure.
All right.
But I did speak with her yesterday, and she told me that if I was able to get out today to come over to her office to see her, and I told her that would be fine.
Okay, well, as far as this court's concerned, you're not getting out today. You're a horrible risk to let back out into the community, Mr. Grimes. You've been absent from the court system for almost 2 years now.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not going to make the same mistake again by releasing you back into the community. What I've done, though, is to expedite your court date, moved it off the September docket it otherwise would have been set, and set it for a relatively quick turnaround on the August docket in light of what you've stated to the court. I don't make light of your medical condition. It just seems coincidental that you're now wanting to have a serious heart procedure after 2 years of being absent, just when you get taken into custody.
I was wanting to do this last month, but I couldn't because therefore I was in custody of Sedgwick County. So therefore I couldn't get in to see my cardiologist or my doctor to get in for surgery.
Who's your cardiologist?
I don't remember his name, sir. I have two of them. One of them is in Wichita and one of them is in Andover.
Okay.
But my triple heart bypass surgery was due for like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I couldn't make that because I was in the county.
Okay.
I just wanted to go get this surgery done, Your Honor.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. And I just want to get your case taken care of.
I understand that, and I want to get this
So
taken
James
care of,
Watts
too.
remains your attorney. He was appointed prior. So James Watts will remain as your attorney to represent you at your hearing next week. Your bond status remains no bond hold. And we'll hold you and we'll conduct your hearing next Friday, the 14th at 2:30 p.m., which will be conducted by Zoom in your case. All right, Mr. Baca, are you aware of anything further the court needs to address currently regarding Mr. Grimes?
The state is not aware of anything further, Your Honor.
All right. I hope the nurse takes good care of you there at the jail for the course of the next week, and we'll see you August 14th for further proceedings on your case, Mr. Grimes.
Thank you.
Very well. This is State of Kansas versus Brian Lynn Grimes. It's case number 2023 CR 480. Amber Norris appearing for the state. James Watts as defense counsel. Mr. Grimes appearing from the jail Zoom location. This matter comes before the court at this time for hearing in relation to a warrant to show cause alleging probation violation. Failing to report to court services as directed, failing to make monthly payments of $75 by the last business day of each month. That was submitted by previous CSO Lori McManus. Sarah Wheeler, chief CSO, appears on behalf of that department. Court will also note Mr. Grimes was sentenced back on January 19 of 2024 for convictions of interference with law enforcement, a Class A misdemeanor, and also possession of marijuana, Class B misdemeanor. He received a 12-month sentence apparently on count 1, 6 months on count 4, and then was given court services probation, I think, for an initial term of 12 months. Court being interested in why a case so old is still before the court in 2026 turns to further docket notes that would indicate the defendant was picked up on the warrant to show cause, made a court appearance on August 12 of 2024. A hearing was set for September the 6th, perhaps later continued. I don't know, but I see docket notes from November 1 of 24, show cause hearing, this court presiding, defendant failed to appear. Mr. Watts did appear, but the defendant didn't. The court ordered bond forfeiture bench warrant with a no bond hold. And then the next docket note is just very recent on August the 5th when he made his first appearance, or made an appearance on the first appearance docket, and this hearing was set, begging the question why he didn't appear for his original warrant to show cause hearing and why it took so long to get him picked up. Ms. Norris, do you have an explanation? If you're talking, Ms. Norris, I can't hear you.
Sorry, Your Honor. I don't really have any additional information about, I mean, I have the bond that he posted back in September of 2024, that showed that he was supposed to appear, and then he did not, and that was he didn't appear later that time in September, and then it was rescheduled to November, and he didn't show up, and I really don't have anything after that until he got picked up in August for the warrant. I really can't say.
Well, the only legitimate reason that I can think of is that he was incarcerated elsewhere. You don't seem to suggest that that was the impediment to him appearing for court. Ms. Wheeler, do you have any reason to believe that he was incarcerated elsewhere?
No, Your Honor, I do not.
Okay. Mr. Watts, what are your client's intentions today regarding these allegations that were made back in 2024?
Well, the first step, Your Honor, he would acknowledge on the warrant to show cause that he failed to report to his court services officer and did not make the monthly payments and waive hearing on the issue of whether or not he was in violation. I will note on the matter of his appearance, he bonded out for the September 25 date as the documents Your Honor cited. That date ended up getting changed to November 1. We attempted to contact Mr. Grimes to let him know of that. He was not receiving any mail because, well, I'm not sure why he wasn't receiving any mail. My understanding talking to him is he was at his mother's residence, that he wasn't checking in there. I think she had passed about that time, if I remember correctly. But we were unable to let him know about that court date. So he missed that. The question I asked Mr. Grimes about that is, why has it taken 2 years for him to appear? And I think it's a fair question. But I did want to let him know, let the court know, at least partly, speaking with Mr. Grimes, what happened. He did not get notice and information. We got the change in date from what was originally set for September 25, and it was moved to November 1. And he did not get that notice, Your Honor.
Mr. Grimes?
Yes, sir.
You've heard your attorney's statement.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But Mr. Watts, regarding his failure to make any monthly payments, you didn't address that.
I may not have, Your Honor. He would stipulate to that violation as well.
All right.
He had not made monthly payments.
All right, fair enough. Mr. Grimes, there's 2 allegations: failing to report, failing to make any payments on the case.
Yes, sir.
You do have a right to a due process hearing where the state has the obligation of proving these allegations by a preponderance of the evidence. You can challenge the state's evidence with the assistance of your lawyer, present your own evidence, confront the state's witnesses unless good cause was shown. And among other lesser remedies, the court could consider an outright revocation in this case and having you serve the remaining balance of the 12-month sentence that was originally imposed. Do you understand these things?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you waive a hearing and stipulate and agree that you failed to report and failed to pay on your case?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Court finds the defendant has waived a due process hearing and stipulates and agrees that he committed the violations as alleged in the warrant to show cause. These are obviously substantial and material violations of the terms and conditions of his original probation orders. We'll turn to disposition at this time. Ms. Norris, what does the state recommend?
Your Honor, this is defendant's first warrant to show cause. I'm not sure what total jail time credit defendant has, but he has 10 days of jail time credit as of this date from the arrest on the warrant. Your Honor, obviously, a sanction would be appropriate. The 10 days would probably be appropriate, and then the court could give defendant an extension of probation to complete and pay, or Your Honor could decide to revoke him outright. He does have an underlying sentence of 12 months in the county jail. Like I said before, I do not know what kind of jail time credit he has already accumulated other than the 10 days that he's had serving since he got arrested on this warrant. Like I said, it is the first violation. So we'd probably recommend that he do the 10 days as a sanction, and that the court do an extension and give him the opportunity to complete probation. Although not sure, as noted previously, where he's been this whole time, and not reporting really ever to court services to try and get this taken care of sooner. And Your Honor, this is a misdemeanor, and the court did assess court-appointed attorney's fees, so I don't think the court would need to assess any additional fees at this time.
Very well, Ms. Norris. Mr. Watts, your recommendations regarding an appropriate disposition for Mr. Grimes?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, as Ms. Norris has noted, Mr. Grimes has now been in custody for approximately 10 days since he was picked up on this warrant to show cause on this violation. And it has taken him almost 2 years for that to happen, and I get that. And I will note for the record, often when there's a delay like that, I end up with a State v. Washington / State v. Haynes type motion, which I'm sure Your Honor is well aware of. I've argued before Your Honor before. However, just so the record is clear, that doesn't apply in this case because he was arrested on this warrant to show cause in September of 2024. So there really isn't any basis for that motion. I just want to make sure that record was clear for future reference. This is also a misdemeanor matter where the usual rules in terms of required dips and dunks don't apply. The state's recommending a 10-day sanction. He has been in for 10 days. He will have served that 10-day sanction. I would note that Ms. McManus back in 2024 was recommending at that time a 7-day sanction. I have heard from Ms. Guthrie, Carol Guthrie, apparently a fiance now of Mr. Grimes. And I've heard from Mr. Grimes as well. He apparently has some fairly significant health issues. At one point, he decides that he needs a triple bypass and also is likely to need kidney dialysis. Mr. Grimes tells me that the 10 days he has been in the county jail, they have taken him to SBA 3 separate times for, he says, by emergency. I don't know what the nature of those emergencies were. I cannot independently confirm that. I don't know if that's the case. But he reports being removed to SBA 3 separate times since he's been there on the 10 days. So it looks like there are some very significant health issues for Mr. Grimes. The other thing Mr. Grimes notes, and again, I cannot independently confirm it, but he tells me he has been clean for these last 2 years since he has been gone. Again, that's not something I can confirm, but it's something he has reported. Our recommendation would be that the 10 days that is recommended be noted as served. He has been in those 10 days. He'd be placed back on probation and see if we can accomplish that. I will tell the court I have emphasized to Mr. Grimes in no uncertain terms that whatever else he must do, he must report. And simply falling off the grid for 2 years is not acceptable and cannot be done. And it doesn't matter why he falls off the grid. He had a circumstance where his mother passed away, and he had other circumstances in life that made it difficult. And I get all that. It doesn't change anything. He still has to appear and still has to report. And I've made that as abundantly clear as I can make it, Your Honor. So our recommendation would be the 10 days along with the state, but he has served that 10 days. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Watts, how much are your fees projected to be in the representation of this client? In other words, how much will you be billing the county for?
Sure. Well, it's $100 an hour on the misdemeanor show causes, which is what this is, and we're currently
120.
we're up to about well, at this point, about a half an hour on this. So these are billed on an hourly rate rather than by bids.
Yes. All right. Mr. Grimes, do you have any statements that you wish to make in mitigation of punishment or anything further that you would like to present to the court?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I have to undergo a triple heart bypass surgery. I have to go undergo probably dialysis for my kidney disease. I have a heart disease, carotid artery heart disease.
Who's your cardiologist?
I don't remember his name. He's in Andover, and I have another one in Wichita. I have 2 of them. One for the kidneys and one for the heart. I believe the one for the heart is
So
it's a
telling me that you have a doctor that says that you need triple bypass surgery in relation to your heart problems, and you don't know what the name of the doctor is?
I can't remember his name. He is a Spanish doctor, sir, and I'm not familiar with Spanish names, so I think it might be Alvarez or something like that, possibly. But I have undergone to Susan B 3 different times by ambulance since I've been in this time in the El Dorado County Jail due to my heart fluctuations, and I just want to do the right thing, sir. I'm tired of looking over my shoulder. I'm tired of doing the wrong things. I'm tired of running. I'm ready to take responsibility and do what I'm supposed to be doing. I have a 40% survival rate from a heart operation, and I plan to get married after this heart operation if it's successful. But I'm trying to do what I have to do. I lost my mother and left the Andover hospital due to that, and I was not ever offered or invited to come back to her home. So I had no idea that I had these other things coming up in the mail because I never got my mail from there. I mean, I do everything that I can do, today to live successfully. I just want to get this over with and move on with my life. You know, I was working for the 2 years a little bit off and on when my heart would allow, and I have saved a little money up a little bit. I think I got $500-600 that I've saved up. Um, and that's, you know, that's kind of what I have. I was in the process of getting my disability this time when I got locked up, and so I haven't further gone through with that. But I am trying, and being in the El Dorado County Jail is further stopping me from going to Andover to complete my heart operation. I know that I was in the wrong. Mr. Watts explained to me that I do have to report when I'm supposed to report, and I understand that fully now. And the fundamentals that he told me, I understand them. I'm just, you know, I'm just trying to get to the Andover Hospital and get this operation because it is a substantial, important operation. I mean, the heart, that's the only thing that got you beating. So I'm trying to get this taken care of as fast as I can, and not have to get in any more trouble.
Your Honor,
Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Yes.
just to let you know, the jail confirms he did go to SBA twice since he's been in on this since August 4th. They do understand that he does need heart surgery, but they know the last time he was scheduled for it, I don't think he showed up for it. So it's he does have health issues, but it's, you know, based on the information that they got when he went to SBA, it's not imminent.
Even if I could get like a $3,000 or $5,000 bond, sir, to get out to go to Andover to meet back with my doctor, my cardiologist, and get the stuff undergone and get it taken care of. I have that much money saved to where I could get out on bond and get there. I have a ride there, get it taken care of. I live in a sober environment. I don't live where there's drugs and alcohol and narcotics and things like that involved. My fiance she don't do that type of things or allow it at her residence, and that residence is in Wichita. They have a second chance. Um, Although I've been clean for 2 years, they have a second chance. So a sobriety house, if you will, here in El Dorado. If I could maybe go to that and, you know, get some things cleared up in my life to go there, having him, you know, it's a place to where I wouldn't be involved in that type of furthering my life into that type of thing. My main thing is, since my mother passed, that was the reason why I left the hospital. I'm not allowed back to her residence. I wasn't at her funeral because I was not allowed by other family members. I would like to be able to go now to where I am clean to at least say goodbye to my mother. And I haven't been able to, and that's what I would like to do. So I do find fault in myself for being in this jail right now and not reporting. But I would like to further my probation or whatever I can do to get out of here to go to Andover and get this taken care of for my kidneys and for my heart. Because now I should be on dialysis, they say, because in 2 years I went from a stage 3 to a stage 4 chronic kidney disease. And I don't want my heart transplant to go from a triple heart bypass to a quadruple. And I can see now every day that I'm getting closer to it being a quadruple because I'm not doing the right things. And I would like to do the right things. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Grimes. Over the course of a long and distinguished career as an attorney, James Watts has negotiated many plea bargains favorable to his client.
Yes, sir.
My observation would be that this was one of those cases. And you ended up with 2 charges, misdemeanor, Class A, interference with law enforcement, and then count 4, possession of marijuana, a Class B misdemeanor. In other words, that due to the plea agreement that your attorney negotiated on your behalf, you avoided a felony conviction. But you didn't do anything to essentially acknowledge that you messed up, and you didn't do anything to comply with the court's order of misdemeanor probation. I suppose I'm almost sensing that if it's misdemeanor probation, you don't have to take it seriously.
I have to take it seriously, sir. Yes.
Well, but you did, Mr. Grimes. Don't come in
You're right.
2026.
You're right. I should.
2.5 years after you were placed on probation and try to tell me that you want to do everything the right way. You want to get this taken care of. You spent 2.5 years not taking care of this case. In the meantime, your health has declined. You say that you would have a clean, you're clean.
I did make a
The way we would have
payment.
verified this over the last 2.5 years is for you to have random UAs as part of your reporting on court services probation. They never really had a chance to supervise you at all because you never reported. And apparently you just thought it would just go away.
I never got in trouble, sir.
Now you've been held accountable for not complying with the original court orders in the case. I do note what I think is Ms. Norris's rather merciful and magnanimous recommendation in this case. I also note, once again, the advocacy of your attorney, James Watts, in fighting for you here, Mr. Grimes. But there's only one order that this court can realistically make in this case, and that is an outright revocation of your probation in this case and order you to serve the remaining balance of your original 12-month controlling sentence in the Butler County Jail. Because, Mr. Grimes, you volunteered for that by failing to meet any meaningful probation condition that was ever established for you. We're not going to just start it 2.5 years later when you decide, well, not when you decide, when you're picked up and finally brought to justice. You didn't show up for your show cause hearing, which very much offends this court. You had an early probation revocation proceeding scheduled where we could have reviewed your situation in 2024. And maybe the things that you say to the court today would have meant more back in November or the fall of 2024 than they mean today. But then you essentially were an absconder from court process for a period of almost 2 years beyond that court date. You never turned yourself in. You never tried to deal with the case. You never went to go seek court service and say, I missed my court date. What do I do now?
Right.
No, you just essentially said, I'm not going to mess with this case. I'm going to live my life outside of probation. And that's not fair to any of the other people that had to deal with their probation cases today.
Sir, I did make a payment recently.
So, quite frankly, I'm not making light of your health situation. I'm not. But as I said earlier, the only realistic order that I can make in this case, due to your complete and total failure to be a probationer in this case, is to essentially impose the alternative to probation. Remember, probation is an alternative to incarceration. You never took that seriously, Mr. Grimes. Now, 2.5 years later, you claim that you would take it seriously. Too little, too late. I'm not going to have court services mess around with you at this stage on a probation order because I don't have any reason to believe you're going to successfully complete it.
I would.
Yeah, you probably said that back in 2024.
No, sir, I did not. I was on drugs back then.
Okay, so you didn't. Okay, so when I granted probation, you never really intended to comply with it.
Well, I intended to apply with it, but I was under the substances of different things, and I was living my life a different way. Then it took me from being doing what I was supposed to be doing.
Sarah, how much does he owe?
I
Your
have-
Honor, he owes $568 and it's been sent to collections already.
Okay. Did he ever make a payment on any of it?
No, Your Honor.
There was a payment made today, Your Honor, on that amount, but it was sent to collections, but I guess they sent the money to collections, however they sent it. The Carol Guthrie, my fiance, she told me earlier this morning that she did make a payment today, and she would make the other payment the first week of September.
Pleased to hear it, because this is a debt that is going to be owed until it's paid in full, and now additional amounts are going to be owed because it's now in collections.
And I would get it taken care of, sir.
Okay, well, even though one of the violations in this case was failure to pay, that's not the basis of this court's
I understand.
order for incarceration.
I understand. I'm just trying to go get my heart issue taken care of, my kidneys taken care of, so I'm not placed on dialysis, so I don't die in jail, so I can have the chance to go tell my mother goodbye. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm giving you my word as a man before you that I will comply and do what you have me do. From
You
this,
promised that many times
if it's
by many
report,
people.
be house arrest or second living, whatever I can do to show you
Well,
that
I'm not changing my order at this hearing. Mr. Grimes, I will advise you that under Kansas law, you do have the right to apply for parole. But with that pronouncement made, this is an outright revocation. 12 months is ordered, less any applicable jail time credit, which I would ask the county attorney's office to include in the journal entry stemming from today's proceedings. Additional fees being waived at this time. Previous amounts obviously remain to be paid through the collection agency. All right. Looking at my notes to see if there's any other matter which I believe needs to be addressed here. Ms. Norris, are you aware of anything further that the court needs to address in relation to Brian Grimes?
Don't believe so, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Watts?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Grimes, just one last statement I'd like to make about the irony of your situation. Had you complied with the original probation order, you would have been off in 2025, probably before you developed more profound health conditions. You didn't think or care about your future health condition when you didn't comply with court orders. Now in 2026, you're still dealing with it. After your health has declined, you find yourself in this situation where you're wanting to get out of jail to take care of health issues. That should have been you should have been off of this case a long time ago.
All right.
Perhaps even you should have maybe dealt with these health situations a long time ago. Very well. The court remands the custody of Brian Lynn Grimes back to the sheriff of Butler County, Kansas, to serve the remaining balance of the 12-month jail sentence originally imposed.